When an Israeli company wanted to build a new road from Motza to Jerusalem, its managers probably thought it would be easy because the area where the road was supposed to go was thought to have important historical places. But a scan of the land found something amazing just a few inches below the surface. A 9,000-year-old city in Israel that changes the way people have thought about history. In this video, we will talk about this recent discovery of the old city. But before we start, make sure to subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon for regular updates. Let's get started. Israel has only been around since 1948, but the area has been inhabited for thousands of years. Abraham, who lived in ancient Israel, and is the patriarch of Christianity, Judaism, and Islam, is said to be their ancestor. This area is called the Holy Land because Abraham lived there. So these religions have been a big part of its past for the last 2,000 years. Before the 7th century AD, Israel was part of the Muslim kingdom. One old inscription talks about a house of David, but it's not clear if it has anything to do with the historical person. Some people think that, if David were real, he would be the leader of a small, remote hill town. This is a big difference from the stories about his great kingdom. But the ruins of a fort on the hill of Kirbet Kayafet show that the area may have been more populated at one time. Jerusalem's history can be traced back to the independent kingdom of Judea through the Ottomans, the Byzantines, and the Romans. Still, nothing has been found below that level since the time when United Israel was thought to have existed. Experts who are looking at the remains of what seems to be Gath think they may know why Goliath was called a giant. The diggings show that a large Iron Age town was built on top of more recent ruins that have already been looked at. If the older city was so much bigger than the other cities of the time, the Israelites might have thought that its people were giants from a long time ago. Still, it is hard to learn about Israel's past because some of the oldest people in Israel are from the Paleolithic, which came before the Neolithic. Between 1929 and 1934, British explorer Dorothy Garrett found them in caves on Mount Carmel. The Netufians of the Middle Stone Age may have been the first people to eat plants and live in fixed homes, which led to the growth of agriculture and Israel. This society also lived in Lebanon, Jordan, and Syria. But let's go back to modern-day Israel and look at the Netivei Israel Company that was building a new highway as part of the Route 16 project to build a road from Motza to the western side of Jerusalem. The company paid for the Antiquities Authority to dig, but what they found would shock everyone for years. Even though excavations were done near Motza, historians and archaeologists thought that this part of Israel was empty during the Neolithic era. At the intersection, the remains of a large village from 9,000 years ago were found. Jacob Vardy, the co-director of digs at the site, told reporters that the site was a game changer, and that the city would have been a metropolis because of its size and number of people, making it like Tel Aviv or Jerusalem from the past. The city's half-kilometer length must have been planned. Alleys linked big buildings to public utilities, living areas, and places for ceremonies. This suggests that the city used to be home to up to 3,000 people. There are many old pieces of jewelry, statues, tools, seeds, and other things in the city, like a spearhead from the Bronze Age and flint tools. Arrowhead stone bands and obsidian beads found in Anatolia show that people there traded with people from other places. Several city tombs have figures made of stone that were buried as part of ceremonies. 2 soldiers were buried in a tomb that was 4,000 years old with a spear and a dagger. A donkey was buried in front of the tomb, possibly to join them in the afterlife. Archaeologists think that just having so much information to study will help us learn a lot more about the time. And there is a lot more to save than just the city. The first place to see the Neolithic agricultural boom was the Fertile Crescent, which was a good place to farm. The Netufians were the first people to settle in the Middle East. They went from being hunters and gatherers to living in villages. People living in the Neolithic period have also been found in Turkey and Syria. When metalwork got better, the period finished, and the Bronze Age began. But at the site called Telephone Motza, researchers have found storage buildings and grain silos from many different time periods. In 2012, work on a road led to the discovery of an old temple. As people moved from a hunter-gatherer lifestyle to a settled one, they also changed how they worshipped. This led to complex religious rites, statues, and other decorations. Motza was made in the Kingdom of Judah about 2750 years ago. At the Telephone Motza, people have found figurines and pieces of pottery, like chalices and bowls used in religious rituals. Experts think that because it faced east, the rising sun could shine into the building and light up the sacred objects. This was usual in ancient temples in this part of the world. Later, when all religious ceremonies moved to Jerusalem, these buildings would be torn down. It was the first agricultural colony of its kind, and it grew different vegetables and strange fruits. Jericho is the only other Neolithic site near or in the northern Levant, or on the other side of the Jordan River. It was one of the first places people lived, and dates back as far as 9,000 years. Most historians think the Israelites didn't destroy the walls of Jericho, but that doesn't mean Motza didn't exist. The layout of Jericho encourages orderly living and farming. In the recently found city, the buildings are modeled in 3D so that every part of the place can be recorded. Modern technology should make it possible to do a level of analysis that has never been done before, both away from the place and inside the work. Motza will draw a picture of the site and two other historical sites. Telephone Garment and Telephone Bet Shemesh will do different things to preserve the find and make it available to the public. That's it for today. What do you think about this incredible discovery? Let us know in the comments section. Please like and share our videos. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon for regular updates.